The Fort McDermott Paiute and Shoshone tribe of northern Paiute and western Shoshone peoples located at McDermott, Nevada, and Oregon. The Fort McDermott Indian Reservation spans the Nevada-Oregon border in Humboldt County, Nevada, and Malheur County, Oregon, near the Quinn River, which runs through the tribe's Nevada lands, east to west.
My name is Shelley Harjo. I'm an enrolled member with the Fort McDermott Paiute Shoshone tribe. I have been involved with or watching this issue of the Lithium Americas coming to our area. I was recently appointed into an appointed seat on the tribal council in May of this year, 2023. I had worked for the Reno Sparks Indian Colony close to 19 years total. And so they were involved with the protection of sacred sites because they're one of the few tribes in Nevada that has a TIPO office. So they had come to me and asked me what my thoughts were on the Thacker Pass issue. So I gave them, my thoughts and thought it would be good to be, create the allyship between the tribes.
Prescient today is the fact that by 1858, the Indians and whites had agreed to a treaty with the principle of equal justice for all. Thieves and killers, white or Indian, were to be turned over to the authorities. Thereafter, Paiutes under Numaga fought alongside whites against raiding parties of the Pitt River Indians from across the Sierra Nevada. For the next 2 years, the Paiutes and whites lived in relative peace. However, the winter of 1858 was especially harsh, making it impossible to get provisions or people over the Sierra Nevada. Food became scarce, forcing residents to hunt for wild game. A massacre by the Pitt River people had left bodies scattered across the land.
In the meantime, I had understood that a community benefits agreement was started with the tribe, with Lithium Americas. And so I have always been against the mine. And so I thought, okay, I need to voice my concern because politically in McDermott, on the tribal council, we've had a lot of ups and downs, meaning a lot of infighting. So I knew that the Thacker Pass issue was going to be a big one at some point. So when the seat came open, I thought that would be my opportunity to voice the concern of some of the membership who actually are against the mine, and kind of give a different perspective to the sitting council, and hopefully come to an agreement on, where we stand as a whole, a community in McDermott. So that's kind of what's transpired, previous to this. There's been quarterly meetings with Lithium Americas. And so for 2023, the quarterly meeting was held August 14th, I believe, which was this past Tuesday. And since I do live in Reno, it's been hard to get back and forth because, of course, I've planted myself here in Reno for the last 30 years. And so the thinking of some of the people on the council, and even some of my own people, the membership, believe that, once you leave, your interest doesn't necessarily follow our interest, because it's presumed that we are not in touch with what's going on the reservation.
The Indian Reservation was established when the tribe organized under the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. The reservation has 18,354 acres in Nevada and 19,000 acres in Oregon. As of the 2010 census, 313 Indians lived on the reservation, with 42 enrolled members living in nearby McDermott.
However, in my case, well, I guess in any case, anybody who lives off of the reservation, of course, that's, we live there and we're eventually gonna die there, meaning we're gonna be buried with our people there. So that's the belief that us off reservation people live by. And so I thought it was my opportunity again to get the my voice out there along with the enrolled members who don't have that voice. So the meeting happened, and unfortunately I couldn't be there because of personal issues here in Reno. The kids had started school, so of course, I had to take my child to school. So it just happened to be on the week that they started. So I, regretfully had to inform the council I wouldn't be there. Well, during this meeting, and this would have been my first quarterly meeting, as a sitting tribal council member. So knowing the importance, I was very, upset that I couldn't make it. In any case, I got a few community calls after the meeting, which indicated that they're pushing forward. They want to continue, and it's the consensus of the council to continue working with Lithium Americas. There were community people in the audience who were in opposition. However, when we're elected officials, we are the voice of the people. So with my voice not being there, of course, that voice was left out that day.
The Fort McDermott Military Reservation was established the 14th of August, 1865, at the former site of Quinn River Camp number 33 and a stagecoach stop, Quinn River Station, in what was the traditional seasonal homeland of the Paiute, Shoshone, and Bannock peoples. Originally, the fort was established to protect the stagecoach route from Virginia City through Winnemucca, Nevada, to Silver City, Idaho Territory. It was named after Lieutenant Colonel Charles McDermott, commander of the Military District of Nevada, who was killed in a skirmish in the area in 1865. Of several skirmishes or attacks by colonial forces, including the 1st Nevada Cavalry in the same year, murdered were between 30 and 70 predominantly women and children. Their records and remains recorded by the EIS for Lithium America's development, destruction of the lands for a lithium mine with little compensation and no direct reparations. When the military outpost was closed in 1889, the military reservation was adapted as the Fort McDermott Indian Agency, betraying its original purpose.
Sing to keep us from the darkness as the chorus lets the lights in. You save the lives you have to die, you save the lives you have to die.
So, and the opposition side has always kind of just been swept under the rug because, our council believes that this is the right thing to do, sign that agreement, and hopefully, we can get some kind of monetary assistance or, to help us with infrastructure on the reservation. So that's kind of the push. We are a poor tribe. We rely on government grants and 638 contracts. So there really is no economic development there as far as, the tribe making their own money. So it's just, in my eyes, a lose-lose situation because, we're looking at the money, which the rest of the world is also looking at the money and the benefits of, green energy, but we're sacrificing our future and our children's future. And so that's my belief. That our people weren't heard that day. in the community benefits agreement, it's a confidential agreement. So I really can't say too much other than what has been disclosed already, which was they were to build us a community building, which would assist with our childcare. We do not have a current childcare program, and that's one of the issues of the reservation is, you know, we have working parents that have to leave their kids with family, or sometimes they just refuse to work because they don't have the childcare. They also wanted to give us a cultural center, and then a greenhouse where we could grow our medicinal plants that they will be tearing up in the land. So to me, you know, that's not sufficient. I've always been against the benefits agreement, and it's monetarily, you can't buy our future, and so that's what I see it as. You know, when I'm speaking today, I'm speaking on behalf of my own personal beliefs, and not necessarily the council. So yeah, I was disappointed that the Lithium Americas is pushing that they're working with the tribe to, you know, give us what we need. It's an agreement, you know, but one of the disclosures in the agreement is we cannot say anything negative about Lithium Americas being on the council, or it nullifies the CBA, as they call it. You know, and I don't know if all the people truly understand the legalities of the CBA, or the implications of having the CBA, meaning, you know, they come in and they give us, you know, they wave the green money in front of us and we have no money. So they, you know, they're basically using us to push forward their initiative of, you know, extracting minerals. So I don't know if a lot of tribal members know that. So, you know, that's the concern, is the educational part of the community. I think it's more or less a gag order, just overall in general. You know, do not talk about anything, but just give us, you know, your green light to basically take whatever we want from your sacred land. We can barely keep our own current buildings operating. So if they're going to build us an 8,000 square feet building that's going to assist us, you know, how are we going to manage to keep a big building operating? You know, it takes a lot more than just giving us a building that's going to depreciate, you know, in 5 to 10 years. And, you know, we're stuck with the same destruction that we were before. I believe there was a court case in Arizona that said if the government didn't have the rights, or the company did not have the rights to the land where they supposedly are going to put the tailings, then you know, it wasn't a doable project. However, we found that the company did not have claims on that, or permission from BLM, yet approved it to go ahead and move it forward. So, you know, that's the biggest issue I see is our little tribe is having, you know, we don't have money for a lawyer. We don't have money to go out and find people that are going to help us in this. So I think the best option I've heard the chairman say in news, to the news media, is we might as well take what we can get. But, you know, I just feel like that's not the right way to go, because, you know, we're talking about our grandchildren and great grandchildren's future. You know, we don't know what these tailings might do or to us internally, as far as you know, breathing this stuff in, all this sulfuric acid that will be in the air. You know, there's just so many reasons why we shouldn't be you know, allowing this. And, you know, for the tribes to try and fight the government over land that has always been ours is not right. You know, we shouldn't have to, you know. I mean, there's at some point there's a trust responsibility for the tribe for the government to take care of the First Nations people, and they have not. They have yet to do that.
You run your mouth, shit flows like a river. Hard-headed, you can't hold your tongue. Like me, I know you're a sinner. Watch out, you better learn how to run. Your guy, he ain't no forgiver. That's right, he's gonna burn you alive. It's your time, better stand and deliver. Feel the heat now, flames gonna rise. It's about to go, it's about to go down, down. Your time's coming, it's about to go down, down. Your time's coming, it's about to go. You take one last breath, feel your blood start to shimmer. This time I won't get away.
Doing right now, you have no reason to be down here this far in the valley. No, you do not. This is not BLM land. It does. You are a security guard, not a cop. You are a security guard. You have no more power than I do. No, you have no more power than I do whatsoever. You know what? You need to leave right now. I was flying no drone. I was not flying no drone. You are no cop. You are no investigator. You need to get out of here. You are on public ground right now, and my life feels threatened with my family in my car, and I am concealed to carry, and you make me feel any more threatened? No, but I'm telling you, you're making me feel threatened right now.
You know, we're the first people of this land, and you know, we have no rights when it comes to the land. I mean, it was stolen from us, and the government has admitted to that, but yet we have no protection for, you know, even our right to religion. So, you know, I don't know how to make that point more clear. We can protect you know, the trout and the sage grouse more. There's more protection for those than there is for Native people in general, and that's, you know, disheartening, because like I said, we're the First Nations people. You know, the government can protect Muslims and Jews and Christians and you know, sexual orientation, but when it comes to Native American rights and spiritual rights and freedom to religion, we're not protected. We're, you know, there's I don't know how that's going to change. You know, we're what, 1% of the whole United States, and we're, you know, they tried to get rid of us, and we're still here.
I'm feeling threatened right now. You can't take my plate. You're a security guard. Yep, bullshit's right. You're a security guard. That is it. You are making me feel threatened by chasing me and my family as fast as you can up over that mountain, doing over 80 miles an hour to try to catch up to me, when I never turned off this highway whatsoever one time from the minute I left down there. Never did I touch off this highway till now, ever.
But we're fighting the bigger battle, because, you know, you have movements like Black Lives Matter, and, you know, when it comes to MMIW and Native issues, you don't hear of them. So the inequality of justice it has to change, you know. There was a point where, you know, the government was trying to kill us off, you know. And so I think they tried their hardest, you know, like with the longest walk. We have, you know, there was a walk way back in there was just so many opportunities for them to try and get rid of us, and they failed. You know, they even tried, and I think with this issue of Oxfam was when, you know, they were trying to round us up and send us on to Yakima, Washington, and Idaho, and all these other places. So, you know, it's always been my opinion that, you know, just because I'm on the Fort McDermott Reservation and I was born there, doesn't mean that that's where my original people were. It doesn't mean that Reno Sparks people don't belong in that area. It doesn't mean that Burns Paiute people don't belong in our area. And that's what I guess the general public doesn't understand. We as Paiute people, we're all over the West. And so when a company like Lithium Americas comes in and says, you know, we're following, you know, all our state laws and federal laws to get the approval of the people, and but they only went to our tribe, and they went to our tribe when there was COVID, and I believe it was 2021. They sent letters in 2021. And their process went between, I think they said they didn't hear from us. Well, in July of 2021 until I would say mid-September, our tribe was going through COVID. I actually had to bury my brother in August due to COVID. He had cancer, and he died of COVID. He got the virus. Although he was on hospice, he went home and got sick because I believe at that time there was over 50 tribal members on the reservation who were sick. The administration was closed. Our government was closed. So it's always been thought that Native people, the Native people are only in their little areas of their reservation. But, you know, and I think that's why what the government set up for us, you know, to herd them all out like cattle, and wherever they are, that's where they're going to be counted at. And then they stay in their little corrals. And I use that analogy because, you know, we've got a lot of ranchers in our area, and, you know, a lot of the ranching mentality is in our area. And the reason why I bring this up is because when they did the walk, you know, people died all along. Our people died all along those walks to Washington and Oregon and Idaho. And so Lithium Americas, this foreign company, does not understand, or I mean, even, you know, the general public doesn't understand how, you know, Native people went to the resources. We gravitated towards the resources, the land resources, based on the season. And so when, you know, these companies come in, it's just a modern, in my opinion, a modern day genocide that's still, you know, occurring from way back when. So, you know, I don't understand why we're a target, or just maybe not even a target, but just the government has always tried to get rid of the savage Indian, and I guess we're still seen as that. So I don't have an answer for that. You know, but it's really difficult to live in modern day society, and have people understand our culture and understand, you know, why we're so connected to the land. You know, because you know, there's people who say, you know, what's a rock, or what's that weed, and to us, those are things that really mean a lot. I mean, we use the rocks in ceremonies, several different ceremonies. We use the medicines. You know, a lot of our people, when they had COVID during that time, they went to the hills and got the medicines to help people get over COVID. So, you know, there's a lot of things that happened and are still happening. And whether it's in our religion, our traditions, our cultures. It's still happening, and people don't understand that. And it's when you're in it, when you live it, it's just who you are. And people who don't understand it. As Native people, when you look at Oak Flat, they're in the almost the identical situation.
This is Oak Flat, a 6.5 square mile plot of land in Arizona's Tonto National Forest. The land is sacred to the Western Apache people. To you, it may look like any other Arizona desert, but to the Apache people, it's the birthplace of their religion.
But theirs, I think the way that theirs went, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a land transfer that went through on a bill that needed to be, it was immediate that needed to happen. There was a rider that had to pass, and so that's how the land transfer went. But they've been fighting this, I guess, a little bit longer than we have. But what do we do? I don't know. Lithium Americas and any other foreign company mining for minerals is a foreign country. And I know the government says we need to stay away from other countries. We're at the mercy of the other countries because they do mine, and they do that's where we get our minerals from. And so that I think that's why they want to mine domestically, but at the backs of our people. They put us on these desolate lands thinking these were worthless areas, and then when they find their mineral, then it again, it doesn't mean anything to them, but it means something to us, whether we're there voluntarily or not. It means something to us, but to them, it's they could dig 7,000 feet into the dirt and not give a world about it. They could care less. My perspective is, although I can see the benefit of a electrical vehicle, however, when some of these batteries overheat, there's no way to fix it. When your battery's dead, I've seen where there's been people who have been locked in their cars because their batteries malfunctioned in their Teslas. And so when you have a bad battery, how do you recycle that? I know they're working on that, but how do you recycle that? So when you talk about electric vehicles, you got to have an electrical grid, and if you want to push that initiative, where are we going to get all that electricity? You're poking holes in Mother Earth, whether it's for water, whether it's for lithium, whether it's for copper. But in essence, what are we doing? We're poking holes in the earth that sustains our life. So, I don't think that people think that far into the future, and I don't think people care. So I would I guess ask people to think about the grid. Think about, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, because a mineral can only last so long. Once we start digging more and more into Mother Earth, we're digging into her heart, her water resource that gives us life. Life isn't going to be anymore. I mean, I don't know how the trade-off, we have to trade something for something, one thing for another, life or a car. Yeah, there's just so many issues that people need. I think people, when I say people, I mean my people, the people of the state of Nevada who are, pushing for this green energy, the people of the United States, the people of any area going through this need to think about the future. What are the pros and the benefits? Because at the end of the day, the clean energy laws, clean water, those don't really protect in the long run. I mean, when we signed that, in my opinion, when we signed that benefits agreement, we weren't thinking about, the tailings in the air. We weren't thinking about maybe one of these trucks on the highway gets a flat tire and hits one of our tribal members. I had an aunt who was killed on that Highway 95 where they'll be transporting. She was killed by an RV that had a blowout. I mean, we're not even thinking of those things about the protection of our people. So that's, those are my concerns and the reason why I'm against this mine.